Part 66. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 651. When and Qian left, Meng Ping and the others also left, and there was no news from Chen Qiang and Li Yong. Lu Ligan felt that he was really alone in Hiken. He didn't know how long he could hold on. I don't know if the turnaround will happen in a few months, a few years, or simply nowhere in sight. But he was unwilling to give up and surrender. Sometimes he even felt that he was a spark of fire. As long as he was still in Hiken and persisted, 1, 2 or 3 of his friends would come back. During this period, what made Lu Ligan feel most embarrassed was that the Yongcheng County Party Committee and county government sent him a formal invitation letter, inviting him to participate in the first Yongcheng Summer Art Festival to be held from August 2 to 10. This is to ask him to fulfill his boast. Lu Ligan stared at the invitation and could only smile bitterly, pretending to be deaf and dumb. There were a few days when Lu Ligan would suddenly become nervous whenever he heard the phone ringing from his cell phone or the phone on his desk. He was afraid that he would, after answering the call, it was the secretary or county magistrate of Yongcheng calling him. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? How should I put it? It is also possible that they already know the current situation in Hainan, and know that the current Lu Ligan is no longer the Lu Ligan in January, or even the Lu Ligan they met when they arrived in Hiken in March. The invitation letter is just a testing, just to see if you are okay in Hiken. Lu Ligan didn't reply, so they didn't call Lu Ligan. Everyone understood this tacitly. Lu Ligan's tense heart slowly relaxed. What worries Lu Ligan is that there is another thing, and that is the construction site of Jinghai Center. Although Lu Ligan ordered the construction company to work slowly, they still worked hard overtime to catch up on the project. He did not know if it was because of the work elsewhere. They all stopped, so they relied on this place to support their entire company, and they still wanted to finish the work early and settle the project funds early. Lu Ligan cursed in his heart, "If you guys rush like this, my money won't last long." He simply ordered Cao Qiang to cut off the power to the entire construction site at 8 o'clock in the evening. Cao Qiang said, "How to tell them?" "Just say it's what the Power Supply Bureau requires," Lu Ligan said. This statement makes sense. There is always not enough electricity in Hiken anyway. The hotter the weather, the more frequent power outages or restrictions on electricity use, forcing larger hotels like Nance Huang to buy their own generators to generate electricity. The construction teams were not allowed to work overtime at night. Unexpectedly, they would work in the morning. Every morning at 4 or 5 o'clock, as soon as the geniuses were polished, the large troops came in and started working vigorously. Lu Ligan couldn't find the building when he called. The boss of the company called several contractors over and scolded them, "Damn it, why didn't I tell you to do it slowly? Why are you in such a hurry?" The contractors said, "There is nothing we can do. This is the agreement we signed with the company. If we don't complete the work according to schedule, the company will fine us. If we have to slow down, then you, Mr. Lu, have to talk to the company." When Lu Ligan called the boss of the construction company, the call either failed to go through, or when the call went through, the other party would say haha, talk about all kinds of things, and hang up the phone in a hurry. Lu Ligan knew in his heart that he was deliberately avoiding him. They just want to complete each stage of the project according to the contract, and then stop and come to your office every day to collect progress payment. Huang Jianren and Lu Ligan said, "Mr. Lu, please just stop." According to reliable information, this regulation is not a short-term move, and the higher UPS have made up their minds. "Do you have reliable damn information now?" Lu Ligan scolded. "How many times have I told you that the construction site cannot be stopped? If we stop, we will be finished. Do you understand? But Mr. Lu, have you ever thought that if you have to stop in the end, then our persistence during this period will be in vain, and all our money will be thrown into that hole and wasted, and the consequences will only be worse. Serious, and what? Don't hesitate, Lu Ligan cursed. Besides, Hainan has become a bad thing now. The industry has negotiated several overseas consortium funds. Once people heard that it was going to Hainan, they didn't care about your project at all and were not even interested in continuing the discussion. It's no wonder that the Zierga group started from Yangpu has completely run away, and Li Kaxing has also run away. Who will be optimistic about Hainan? Huang Jianren said. Okay, let me think. Lu Ligan slowed down his tone and told Huang Jianren that he also understood what Huang Jianren said. Stopping the bleeding in time may be the best way to prevent the wound from continuing to expand or even fester, but Lu Ligan also understood that as long as he stopped, all the previous efforts were in vain. The project under construction will soon be seized by all interested parties, and the notoriety spreads throughout Xinbu Island. As long as you pay the transfer fee 1 day late, the Haikan city government will take it back according to the agreement. They are also afraid that the land will rot in your hands. The money was not received, and he was involved in various lawsuits, and all kinds of monsters pounced on him. For them, taking back is the best choice, the execution of the above tasks, and the greatest politics. If that happens, there will be no second chance. For a company that has a bad reputation in the local area, it will be difficult to clear up your own reputation even if you try several times harder. Overseas funds were not available, so Lu Ligan went to see Mr. Xie. Mr. Xie introduced him to several fellow villagers from Hunan. They told Mr. Xie, Lao Xie, if you dare to invest, we will follow up. The problem now is that Mr. Xie can't make up his mind. Mr. Xie basically suffered no losses when the bubble burst in Haikan. He had already sublet the land and received the rent. He also rented out the factory buildings and signed 10-year leases. The rent collected is for 3 years. If you cannot pay the rent after 3 years, that will also happen after 3 years. After selling the land and house, Lao Xie held a large amount of money in his hand and was weighing it. He had already fallen into a trap in Haikan. It was impossible not to hesitate. He hesitated for several months. By the time he made up his mind to make a move, several projects were like this. They had already negotiated today and had to sign the agreement and pay the money tomorrow. The other party regretted it again and said that he wanted to increase the price. The other party said that he wanted to increase the price. Of course, Lao Xie also had to consider it. While he was thinking about it, the price soared upwards. Lao Xie was scared when he saw it, and finally gave up. Just when I was eager to see others doing their jobs enthusiastically and making money every day, and anxious that I would accomplish nothing and become a bystander, June 23 came. The false prosperity of Hainan collapsed suddenly. Lao Xie was not only happy but also scared. He was happy that if he took action again, it would be like falling twice in one place. It would definitely be a person who was shot, pulled up and shot again. Cool you down completely. It's not that Lao Xie doesn't believe Lu Ligan, but he's really not sure when the situation will improve. And Lao Xie's escape from the tiger's mouth has been infinitely expanded in the eyes of his fellow Hunan people, and even a myth has turned into a legend. So many people have died, but only Lao Xie is intact. This is not because of his unique vision. What is this if not shrewdness? So they all look at Lao Xie. Lao Xie, you don't even dare to vote, but you ask us to vote, what's going on? Lao Xie did not dare to lead the investment. He also had another concern, that is, he had carefully calculated that even if all their funds were invested, the building would not be completed. If it could be completed, Lao Xie was not afraid. The building was there and could be sold. You can rent as much as you can. At worst, you will have to live a hard life for a few years, just like you are guarding that dilapidated factory. After more than 2 years of hard life, won't all the hard work come to an end? But if after investing in it, it is still a bad building, then Lao Xie will not dare to do it. When the day comes, this bad building will not bring you a single penny of benefits, and it will drag yourself to death. You will finally want to get rid of it? Or ask someone to save you from the sea of suffering. No one can save you unless your hands and feet are broken. If you are saved, you will only be a disabled person. This kind of thing should never be done. Lu Ligan failed to persuade Mr. Xie, and Mr. Xie in turn persuaded Lu Ligan, using the same rhetoric as Huang Jianren, urging him to close the stall as soon as possible and not to hold on. No matter whether this person is in business or career, he cannot beat the general trend. You can only go with the trend, but not against it. As the saying goes, you have to keep the green hills without fear of running out of firewood. Xiao Lu, you are still young. Lu Ligan's big brother rang, and Lu Ligan picked up the call. It was Chen Ji who called, and Chen Ji shouted on the phone, "Mr. Lu, come back soon, something big has happened. Why are you panicking? Tell me calmly. What happened?" Mr. Huang transferred all the money in our company's account back to Beijing. Ah, Lu Ligan shouted, stood up quickly, waved to Mr. Xie, and ran outside. Wu Zaiwai was squatting on the steps of the door, smoking and bragging with Mr. Xie's brother. Look, Lu Ligan ran out, and Wu Zaiwai stood up quickly. Hurry back to the company, Lu Ligan shouted. When the two people got out of the elevator, they saw Chen Ji and Wei Venfang standing at the elevator entrance with panic on their faces. Lu Ligan asked, "When did it happen?" "That's right up front. I went to the bank and the bank told me that Mr. Huang transferred all our company's money back to Beijing," Chen Ji shouted. "Where's the yellow bitch?" "I don't know, he and the minion are gone," Wei Venfang said. "I called them, but they didn't answer the phone." "Has all the money been transferred?" Lu Ligan asked. "There are only 300,000 left," Chen Ji said. "Humming yellow bitch," Wu Zaiwai cursed. Lu Ligan's big brother rang, and Lu Ligan quickly picked up the call. It was Huang Jianren on the phone. Before Lu Ligan could speak, Huang Jianren said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Lu, I have no choice. This is the order of Governor Zhu and Sun Ho, and I have to carry it out." Do you know what it means when you do this?" Lu Ligan roared. "I know, but Mr. Lu, do you know what it means if I don't do this? Do you know what it means to President Zhu and Sun Ho?" "Where are you?" Lu Ligan asked. "I'm at the airport. Xiao Huang has already passed the security check. I'm waiting for you at the security checkpoint." "Mr. Lu, I'll wait for you if you want to hit or scold me. Just come to me alone. I promise not to fight back or scold you." "Mouth, if it weren't for Xiao Huang, I wouldn't leave and would wait for you at the company." "What the bitch Huang, just stand there and don't move. Watch me carry you back." Wu Zaiwai cursed loudly and was about to leave. Lu Lepole grabbed him. "I'm sorry, Mr. Lu, I became a deserter again." Huang Jianren suddenly burst into tears on the phone. "Xiao Huang is pregnant. I have to listen to the industry. The 300,000 yuan was my own decision. What is left is to pay everyone's wages. Mr. Lu, really, if we can't hold on, there will be no way out." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 652. Lu Ligan sat there, trying his best to calm down. Chen Ji and Wei Venfang stood on the side, already crying. Lu Ligan looked at them and remembered. Lu Ligan and Wu Zaiwai said, "Take them to the bank immediately, take out all 300,000, and give them to you and Wu Zaiwai. Cao Kuoking and his colleagues in the engineering department have all been paid their salaries, and they will be paid on a monthly basis for as many months as they can. They have all been paid, and no one should be left behind." Lu Ligan told himself in his heart that he was afraid that he would not be able to keep a penny at all. Seeing the three people still standing there, he shouted, "Go quickly, Why are you still standing there stupidly? After the three people left, Lu Ligan picked up the phone and wanted to call Sun Ho. He dialed 2 numbers and then put it down. What was the point? They withdrew all the funds without even saying hello. Now they just want to, even if I remit it, I won't be able to remit a penny. Lu Ligan knew that he was protecting his own safety, and that he and the entire Hainan company were now discarded pawns. After this wave of incidents, units like Sunho and others will definitely start a large-scale inventory to find out how much they have lost from all branches in Hainan, and then hold them accountable one by one according to the amount of loss, just like the people of Wuxi, just like chasing those 60 million. Meng Ping is right, all the money will be transferred to the people. This is why Huang Jianren told him that Governor Zhu and Sun Ho called him a lot. I am afraid that not only Governor Zhu, but also Governor Li must have called him constantly. To Mr. Zhu, Hainan Company, once their glory, is now irritating everyone's nerves. Wu Ziyai and the other 3 came back and walked into the office. Chen Ji said to Lu Ligan in a sultry voice, "Mr. Lu, I got it back." Lu Ligan stood up. He said yes, he would distribute it as I said, immediately, and notify Cao Kuoking and others to come and collect it. By the way, I don't want to be included in it, and they will distribute it all. Mr. Lu, this. Wei Venfang said. What, my words don't work anymore. Don't worry, I'm still hungry. Lu Ligan stretched out his hand towards Wu Ziyai, give me the car keys. Wu Ziyai hesitated, and Lu Ligan grinned, don't worry, I'm not running away, and I have no way to run. Wu Ziyai gave him the car keys. Lu Ligan went downstairs and started the car. He turned left on Binhai Avenue and kept driving forward. He drove to Holiday Beach and turned to the right. The car drove down the slope until it reached he stopped in a clearing. The scorching sun above his head was like fire, and the entire Holiday Beach was deserted. Lu Ligan got out of the car, walked to the white beach, and sat down. The sand was hot. Lu Ligan lay down on the hot sand. In an instant, he felt like a kettle full of holes, and every pore was sweating outwards. Lu Ligan's eyes immediately blurred. The blue sky and white clouds above his head were thick and steaming. He felt like a piece of sweet potato that was about to be roasted on this beach, and like a piece of toffee. It would be nice to melt completely on this beach. Lu Ligan felt that if that was the case, that would be great. Lu Ligan felt that every hair on his body was withered and scorched. He wanted to keep going like this, but his survival instinct made him get up. He got up staggeringly. He heard Huang Jianren's voice. The voice shouted, I became a deserter again, a deserter, a deserter. He stumbled onto the wet beach and fell down on his back. The sea water rolled in, and he felt like a piece of red iron being immersed in the water. There was a soft sizzling sound, and he seemed to see a burst of white smoke emerged from all around him. When Lu Ligan woke up, the sun had already set. He looked up and saw a circle of human faces, with the dark blue sky behind them. Wake up, there was a commotion in the crowd. Lu Ligan moved his feet, and his feet seemed to be able to move. Lu Ligan moved his hands, and his hands seemed to still be able to move. Lu Ligan sat up and felt something clattering in his butt pocket. He took it out and found it was his big brother. He opened the flip cover and looked at it. The screen was completely black. Lu Lepol waved his hand casually, and the big brother drew an arc in the air and fell into the sea. There was a burst of exclamation from the crowd. Did you lose money by speculating on real estate? Someone asked Lu Ligan. Lu Lepol nodded. No wonder, someone said, this off-plan building is killing people. Someone else comforted him, young man, I've also lost money. Just be patient and you'll get over it after a while. Lu Ligan said, you are right, it will be over after you get through it. What's the big deal? Yes, that's right, that's what you think, the man said. Lu Ligan smiled at the man. He put his hands on the ground and tried to stand up, but his feet were weak and he almost fell. Fortunately, there were several people around him who helped him stand up straight on the beach. Lu Lizang stood for a while and felt that he could move. He broke away from the arms holding him and murmured, "Thank you, thank you." He walked to his car and pulled the door. The door was unlocked. After getting in, he saw that the key was still inserted in the keyhole. Lu Ligan grinned. It seemed that he was not confused yet. He saw there was half a bottle of water on the passenger seat, and he didn't know who had left it here. He unscrewed the cap and drank half the bottle of water. Turning on the air conditioner, cool air blew out hissingly from inside, and he felt burning pain all over his face, hands, and body. When Lu Ligan woke up in the morning, it was already past 10 o'clock. Lu Ligan was startled and cursed, "Why the hell did you sleep like a pig and you were late?" Lu Ligan sat up on the bed, and then laughed. He had forgotten about it. It didn't matter whether he was late or not. Lu Lizan felt that his face, hands, and body were still in burning pain. He looked and saw that both arms were red and swollen. When he touched his hands, he felt a sharp pain. He knew that he had been sunburned yesterday. Lu stood up and walked to the wash basin at the end of the corridor. He saw himself in the mirror and was startled. He saw an unfamiliar swarthy face inside, with a thin layer of white covering his face. It peeled off, and where it peeled off, a little bit of red skin was revealed. His face hurt when it touched the water. He wet the towel and wiped his entire face bit by bit. He looked at himself in the mirror and made a face. The car stopped at the entrance of the courtyard below, and Lu Ligan got in and started the car. Lu Ligan walked into the company's door, and Wei Venfang exclaimed, "Mr. Lu, how did you become like this?" Lu Ligan smiled and said, "This is called Hawaiian color, do you understand?" Lu Ligan heard someone shouting in the office lobby, come on, come on." He turned around and saw that Wu Zayawai and Cao Kuaking were inside, as well as 7 or 8 foremans, and the long-lost boss Bai of the construction company. Lu Ligan walked in and smiled at Boss Bai, "A rare guest, it's not easy to see you." Boss Bai quickly asked, "Mr. Lu, why did this construction site stop?" Lu Ligan said to him, "I have no money, what will I do if I don't stop? If I work one more day, it will be in vain. Are you willing?" Those people suddenly got angry and shouted, "Then what should we do? We still haven't received the money, how can we just stop?" Cao Kuaking yelled, You, how many buildings in Haikan have stopped now? How many people have not received a penny? Have we ever owed you a penny? Just according to the agreement, you guys, is it finally time to get the money for this project?" "Xiao Cao, shut up," Lu Ligan shouted. He told Boss Bai, "Let's go to my office." Boss Bai said okay. Those contractors wanted to follow, but Boss Bai glared at them and cursed, "I'm discussing things with Mr. Lu, what are you doing here?" The men stood still. The two people entered Lu Ligan's office. After sitting down, Boss Bai and Lu Ligan said, "Boss Lu, just tell me the truth. This construction site has been stopped. When can we resume work?" Lu Ligan looked at him, shook his head, and said to him, "I don't know, really, I really don't know." "Then you should have told me earlier." "I thought so, but I only found out yesterday that all the money in the account was suddenly taken away by the major shareholders yesterday. Do you think I want this? If I wanted to stop this project, I would have stopped it long ago. I didn't have to wait until today. That's what I said, but what should I do now? Boss Lu, we have always cooperated very well. It's not that I want to embarrass you. If this is the case, these people below will not be able to hold on, and my skin will be peeled off by them." Dropped. "As of today, how much do we owe you approximately?" "Originally, the progress payment for this period will be paid in more than 10 days. By now, it should be more than 12 million. Lu Ligan smiled bitterly and said, then I really have no choice. At this time, everyone is in danger. I just want to find a place to borrow money, but there is no place to borrow money. People will think, what can you pay back if I borrow it? You say right? Unless you are cheating, even if you are cheating, then the other party must be a fool. Boss Bai was anxious, but Boss Lu, I really can't survive this. As you know, it's summer vacation now, and so many workers and their children are still waiting to get money to pay their tuition fees. There is no money to give them. What will they do? Boss Bai knows that you can't be tough with this guy Lu Ligan. This guy is soft-hearted and will accept softness rather than toughness. In front of him, whining is always more useful than howling. Sure enough, Lu Ligan frowned after hearing this, and Boss Bai continued. Boss Lu, think about it, so many people rely on this construction site to live their lives. Now the situation in Haikan is like this. They don't work here and can't find other places to work. They just go home. I'm afraid they don't have travel expenses anymore, which will really push them to a dead end. Boss Lu, you must find a way for them no matter what. You, Boss Lu, are a big shot, a well-known big shot in Haikan. You have a great reputation. Unlike us who carry bricks and carry buckets of mud, no one will pay attention to us when we go out. Boss Lu, I am here to represent so many workers below, on behalf of their whole families, and on behalf of their children, thank you. Really, Boss Lu, you can let me kneel down in front of you, you just have to help me find a way. Otherwise, I'm afraid something will happen. You must have heard about a migrant worker couple jumping off a building at the construction site in Changliu. Okay, stop talking. Lu Lepol waved his hand. He thought for a moment, took out his bank card from his wallet, and said to Boss Bai, there is so much and I really can't do anything about it. In this way, this card is my own money, I will give it all to you, you give it to them evenly, distribute it to the workers, and solve their immediate difficulties first, okay. Lu Ligan said, took the pen and paper, wrote a string of numbers, handed it to Boss Bai along with the card, and said to him, this is the password. How much money is there in the card? More than 1.3 million. It's just this little, how can it be enough? I get a salary and a bonus here too. This is all I have. Do you want it? If not, I won't give it to you. Boss Bai quickly took the card and the paper. He saw the car keys on the table and murmured, Boss Lu, your car. Lu Ligan understood, laughed, and cursed, you are really pushing your limits, okay, take it, I'm of no use anyway. Boss Bai quickly took away the car keys on the table. Lu Ligan stood up and walked to the door of the office. He saw Boss Bai leading the contractors out. Lu Ligan breathed a sigh of relief. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 653. Lu Ligan parked his bicycle and went upstairs. Outside the door, he heard someone making noise in the company. Lu Ligan walked in and was surprised. He saw two groups of people arguing inside. One group was Cao Guoqing, Wu Zayawai, and a group of contractors who came yesterday. Wei Venfang and Chen Ji were among them to persuade them. The contractors had their backs to the door, and Cao Guoqing and Wu Zayawai stood opposite them. When Wu Zayawai saw Lu Ligan coming in, he kept winking at him and motioning for him to leave quickly. Lu Ligan did not leave, but walked over and asked, what's going on? The two groups of people who were arguing stopped. When the contractors saw Lu Ligan, they gathered around and said to Lu Ligan, Mr. Lu, we are here to get money. Lu Ligan asked curiously, how much money do you get? What money? Of course it's money for work, Someone shouted angrily. Why do you ask me for your money? Mr. Bai is the one who should settle the bill with you. We have nothing to do with you, Lu Ligan said. That's right, even if we have money, we can't give you a cent. How have you been paying the bills for so long? Who subcontracted your work to you? It's none of our business, Cao Kuaking scolded. Among the contractors, there was the oldest one. He looked at Lu Ligan and said, Mr. Lu, the truth is this. However, now that Mr. Bai can't be found, who can we look for if we don't look for you? Mr. Bai can't be found, Lu Ligan asked strangely. Yes, he told us yesterday that we should go back first and come back today. He said that Mr. Lu had promised to arrange some money for us today. Unexpectedly, we deducted money from him today. He never responded and ran to him. I looked around where he lived and found that there was nothing left, so I realized he had run away. When Lu Ligan heard this, he felt his head buzzing. He asked, he didn't give you any money yesterday? No, if there was, how could we still come? Yesterday, he also brought us here, the other party said. But, I already gave him the money yesterday, Lu Ligan said. He told us that he didn't have it, and that he would only give it today. That's why we couldn't find him, so we came to find you. What were you two discussing inside yesterday? Were you discussing how to play tricks on us? Someone shouted. Yes, you must be on good terms. Last night, someone saw him driving away in your car, someone else shouted. Fart. Who the hell is Bai? We, Mr. Lu, are going to get along with him, Cao Kuaking cursed. Lu Lipol waved his hand and said to them. Manager Bai told me yesterday that many workers' children are waiting for money to pay for school fees. Yesterday I gave him all my money, more than 1.3 million, and asked him to share it with you to help you first. He thought it was too little and wanted my car, so I gave him my car too, and that's what happened. Who believes it? I think you hid him because you didn't want to give us money, someone shouted. You, everyone from our company is here, who of us hid him? Wu Zayawai cursed. Lu Ligan said, whether you believe it or not, that's what happened. You can go to the police and the police will come to find out. They will check whether what I said is true and who took the money on my card. The bank also has records. Whether I lied or not, it will be clear after checking. What's the noise? What's the noise? What the hell are you arguing about? Someone came in from the outside shouting. Lu Ligan turned around and saw that it was Zheng, followed by more than a dozen people. Zheng walked over, nodded to Lu Ligan, and then asked the contractors, where are you from? Zheng didn't know these contractors, but they all knew him. Seeing that he was bringing so many people with him, he felt a little timid. The older one said, Master Zheng, we are on the construction site and came to Mr. Lu to ask for money for our work. Zheng squinted at him, which construction site? Jinghai Center. Holy shit. Why are you looking for Mr. Lu in Jinghai Center? If you want money, you're going to ask Bai for it, Zheng scolded. Manager Bai has run away. I ran away just to ask for him. Gun, don't make trouble here. Is this where you should come? Zheng continued to curse. Those people were still trying to distinguish something. Zheng winked, and immediately someone came up, one for each person. They reached out and inserted their hands under his armpits and carried him away. As soon as someone struggled, he was kicked hard on the butt. One kick. Zheng looked around and said to Lu Ligan, Brother Lu, where are your people? Why are there only so few left? Lu Ligan shook his head and sighed, stop humming, making fun of me. You don't know that a defeat is like a mountain. Zheng laughed. Ha, look at what Brother Lu said. Brother Lu still has a solid foundation. Most of the bosses in Haikan have disappeared now. It will not be easy for Brother Lu to still be there. Lu Ligan smiled bitterly and said, if I'm not here, Where else can I go? Let's go, brother Lu, let's go to your office to chat. Ah Zheng hugged Lu Ligan and walked towards his office, followed by two people. When Cao Qiuqing saw the two people, he knew them. One of them was delivering yellow sand to the construction site, and the other was delivering yellow sand to the construction site. It's made of reinforced concrete, what are they doing here? Cao Qiuqing also followed to the door of Lu Ligan's office. The four of them sat down. Zheng and Lu Ligan said, Brother Lu, that's it? These two are my fellow villagers. I brought them here because I have something to ask Brother Lu for help. What's the matter? Tell me. That's right, Brother Lu, you may not know them. One of them delivers yellow sand to your construction site, and this old man delivers steel bars and cement, Zheng said. Lu Ligan nodded and asked them both, are you supplying to Manager Bai? The two men nodded. That bastard named Bai is not honest. He still owes them more than 4 million, so he ran away. No, my two brothers panicked and found me, so I took them to find Brother Lu. Ah Zheng said. Lu Ligan understood. He knew that what Zheng said about fellow villagers was all nonsense. Zheng was just helping them collect debts, and he must have thought that he was hiding the man named Bai. Lu Ligan smiled and said, Zheng, damn you, do you believe what I say? Brother Lu, of course I believe what you say. Then let me tell you, I really didn't hide Manager Bai. If I don't look for him, why should I look for that dick? I'm looking for you, Brother Lu. Looking for me? Why are you looking for me? Lu Ligan asked curiously. Zheng looked at the two people and said with a smile, did you see it? I just told you, so I, Brother Lu, can make a joke. It's not Zheng, I really don't know. Why are you looking for me? Lu Ligan said, when they settle the bill, shouldn't they look for a construction company? What's the use of looking for me? Don't you know that Brother Lu and I have a good relationship? Ah Zheng smiled, looked at Lu Ligan and said. That's what I think. Brother Lu, don't you need the money for the project named Bai? You don't have to give it to him. Give the more than 4 million directly to my two brothers. What about you, and then give it to me, the money has been deducted from the project payment for Bai, so I don't have to worry about Bai. Brother Lu, you also know my temper. I'm afraid I won't be able to stop the car. Lu Ligan was surprised. It turned out that this was the reason why Zheng came here. Damn it, is this how the accounts were settled? Lu Ligan said, Zheng, let me be honest with you. If this were normal, it would not be impossible to do this. At worst, I would just call Manager Bai and call him over. We can figure it out in person. If he agrees, I can directly give me money, but now, I can't find Manager Bai. What do you mean, Brother Lu? If I can't find this guy named Bai, the money will be wasted? Brother Lu, is this what you mean? No, Zheng, I mean, on this bridge-to-bridge road, the accounts still need to be settled one by one. You two fellow villagers didn't sign an agreement with me. I just have to pay, so that's okay. You need Manager Bai to agree, right? Otherwise, what will happen if he doesn't admit it? Brother Lu, it's meaningless for you to talk like this. The yellow sand and cement that my two brothers shared were all used in your project. You mean to deny it and let them go to that building to put the cement on their own? Just dig it out from the yellow sand, is that what you mean? Zheng, why do I feel that you came here today to blackmail me? Lu Ligan said half-jokingly. Damn you, Ah Zheng slapped the coffee table, are you out of money? Lu Ligan nodded, yes, the money is indeed gone. What are you going to do with me if you don't have money? Ah Zheng stared at Lu Ligan and cursed. What do you mean? Lu Ligan asked. If you have money, you'll be my humming brother. If you don't, you'll be my humming brother. Lu Ligan was also annoyed and cursed, that's your grandson, right? Ajeng stood up and waved, "Let's go, Mr. Lu, if you don't have money, let's go to another place." "How dare you," Cao Kuaking ran in. He threw two bone-chopping knives on the coffee table and shouted, "Ajeng, you want to bring someone with you, okay, like this, these two knives, you pick one, and we'll chop at each other. If you chop me down, I can be taken away. As long as I'm still standing here, don't even think about it." Ajeng looked at him and sneered, "You want to play with me? Okay, then let's play." When Ajeng was talking, more than a dozen of his men crowded in. Wei Venfang squeezed in from the crowd, and she said to Lu Ligan, "Mr. Lu, Mr. Zheng called you just now, why can't you get through?" "Mr. Zheng asked me, is there anything going on here?" Lu Ligan and Ajeng were both stunned for a moment. Lu Ligan said, "It's okay. If necessary, Mr. Zheng said she would come from Beijing today." Wei Venfang continued. "No need, I can handle the things here myself," Lu Ligan said. Of course Ajeng knew who they were talking about, Mr. Zheng. Although they had already driven Zheng Wei back to Beijing, they were shocked when they found out Zheng Wei's background. They also knew about Zheng Wei and Lu Ligan's background. The relationship is unusual. Although she is not here at this time, it is normal for her to care. Zheng was a little scared at the moment. He was afraid that someone would suddenly come in and take him away just like Fang Zhe. That would not be humming fun. This kind of thing can happen every minute. Ajeng stood up and led the people out. He and his men said, "Just stay here and stop them. Don't let them out. I'll see how many days they can hold it in." The subordinates agreed. Ajeng said to the two men, "Let's go." Just as Ajeng and the others were walking out, Cao Kuaking and Wu Zai each took a knife and blocked the door of the office, preventing anyone from entering. Wei Venfang looked at Lu Ligan and stuck out his tongue. Lu Ligan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Of course he knew that Wei Venfang was lying when he said Zheng Wei called, but this trick seemed to have worked for the time being. The two groups of people were confronting each other. People outside could not come in, and people in the office could not get out. The stalemate continued until about 8 o'clock in the evening. The people guarding the company gate suddenly ran in and said something to the leader of Ajeng's men. The dozen or so people quickly walked aside, left the passage, and stood in the far office. In the darkness. When Cao Kuaking and Wu Zai were wondering, they saw 4 police officers coming in from outside the door. They walked straight to the door of the office and looked at the knives in Cao Kuaking and Wu Zai's hands. One of them shouted sharply, "What are you going to do, obstructing law enforcement?" As he spoke, he touched his waist at the same time. His waist was bulging. Lu Ligan quickly shouted, "Get out of the way quickly." Cao Kuaking and Wu Zai stepped aside, and 4 police officers walked in. The leader looked at Lu Ligan and asked, "Are you Lu Ligan?" Lu Lepol nodded. "There is a case that requires your cooperation. Please come with us." Lu Ligan said, "Yes, you are." He thought in his mind that it was probably the contractors who actually went to report the crime. "You'll know when we get there." "Let's go," the leader said. 2 people were in front, and 2 people were behind. They walked out with Lu Lepol in the middle. Wei Venfang shouted, "Hey, where are you from?" The leader glared at her, "What a shame. Or do you want to come with us?" Wei Venfang quickly shut up. The 5 people went downstairs. There was a police car parked at the gate of Longja building. 2 policemen were sitting in the front, the other 2 were sandwiching Lu Ligan in the middle, and the 3 people were sitting in the back. The car started immediately, turned left at the coastal avenue in front, drove all the way to Xiuying port, turned right and entered the pier. It seemed that he was preparing to leave the island. Lu Ligan suddenly understood and asked, "Are you from Wuxi?" "Thank you Lao Chantang for the tip. Thank you for your monthly pass. Thank you for all your recommendation votes and reading." I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 654. Tan Shahen suddenly became very busy. Ever since Yongcheng County decided to hold the first Yongcheng Summer Art Festival in August, the county leaders seemed to have suddenly remembered that there was a regular theater troupe in their county. Although this troupe had not performed for several years, the troupe still there. The key is, those actors are still there. The so-called highlight of the art festival is just the Kaimu performance at the opening ceremony. What follows is a fake signing ceremony of several agreements. In fact, they have already been signed. Look for this opportunity to sign again. Once. County leaders attach great importance to this event. Firstly, even provincial and municipal TV stations and newspapers will be invited to report on this event, giving the leaders a chance to show their faces. The most important thing is that the old leaders from Yongcheng outside the country readily accepted it and promised to make a special trip back to their hometown to guide the reform and construction of their hometown and review the beautiful rivers and mountains of their hometown. An old leader from Yongcheng has become a senior official in the capital, and another one is a deputy in the military region. When they come, the corresponding provincial and municipal leaders will accompany them. For the county leaders, firstly, they can establish fellow villagers' friendship with the old leaders. Secondly, it is also the best opportunity to enhance their impressions and deepen their relationship with the accompanying provincial and municipal leaders, and gain their understanding of various tasks in Yongcheng, including recognition of their individual efforts. For the opening ceremony, 2 or 3 performing arts stars who were performing at various festivals across the country would be invited to perform at the opening ceremony. They were building cultural platforms and performing economic performances everywhere. These stars were very popular at the time, and their appearance fees were very high. Yongcheng County can't afford to hire more, so it can only hire 2 or 3, each of whom can sing 3 songs on stage, or perform live a clip from a certain movie. 2 or 3 of them can't make up the whole thing. The 2-hour performance on the stage needs to be dominated by local actors. They are just the embellishment, or the finishing touch. After all, they are the main people who crowd around to watch. There is a Yongcheng art troupe in the Yongcheng County Cultural Center. It is composed of a group of amateur actors led by Mr. Shi, the music teacher of the Cultural Center. It is okay to join in the fun, but the artistic level is not high. Yongcheng Summer Art Festival is Yongcheng's top priority this year. Of course, it is to provide a high-quality performance to guests and the general public. This requires Wu Opera Troupe. After the speech during the Southern Tour, the county leaders, even they themselves were confused, seemed to have suddenly become better off, and the finances were no longer so tight. This was naturally due to the fact that thousands of troops went to see, and every household opened a shop through the wall. Anyway, it is a prosperous scene. The county immediately decided to allocate a special fund of 100,000 yuan to let the Wu Opera Troupe perform 2 new excerpts to participate in the opening ceremony of the Yongcheng Summer Art Festival. It was also decided that the main actors of the troupe would also be solo singers. After all, their level is still higher than that of amateur actors, even though they have never performed a pop song on stage. Doesn't matter, it doesn't all depend on the voice. It doesn't all have to speak, you can learn. Therefore, in addition to rehearsing new plays in the troupe, Tan Shahen, Su Jianmei and Feng Logui also had to go to the county cultural center to learn pop songs from teacher Shi, and collaborate with amateur drummers, bassists, and saxophonists. From the county to the cultural bureau, everyone has the idea of putting the Wu Opera Troupe, especially Tan Shahen, as a business card of Yongcheng. Even though celebrities who were invited at high prices have nothing to fear, and they have to compare with them, so that they dare not underestimate them. We are in Yongcheng County. Tan Shahen also has this intention. She always thought that she was buried in the Yongcheng Wu Troupe. What she lacked was a better and bigger platform. As long as she had this platform, she would definitely not be inferior to those stars. Now that she has such an opportunity, Tan Shahan certainly cherishes it very much. She took her daughter home and gave it to her parents. She rehearsed in the theater troupe every day, and went to the cultural center at night to study with teacher Shi, and also rehearsed and performed with people from the art troupe. The art troupe performs in the song and dance hall on the fourth floor of the cultural center every day. Tan Shahan also appears to increase her stage experience. You must know that what she had originally was experience in opera performance. The difference between the two is quite big. Tan Shahan's voice is clear and confident, especially the high notes. She can sing with ease. She can walk up and down, and then come down calmly. This is rare. Teacher She teaches her in accordance with her aptitude and feels that she is suitable for singing ethnic singing. I chose a song I Love You, China and a song On the Field of Hope for her. Tan Shahan walked to the front of the dance floor of the song and dance hall, on the small and cramped stage. As soon as she opened her voice, those dancing on the dance floor stopped and looked at her. Who is this? How can she sing as well as on TV? Not only did Tan Shahan sing well, but the expression on her face was also very vivid, especially her eyes, which shone brightly on the stage, as if they were alive, and her emotions were particularly full and sincere. When she sang high, there seemed to be something in her eyes. Tears flashed. It was really I Love You, China, and it was impossible not to be infected by her. For those men, the most special thing was that she was so beautiful. It's really dazzling. After the song was sung, everyone stood there and applauded desperately. Even the musicians on the stage and teacher She on the side of the stage applauded desperately. Teacher She was about to cry. She had always known that Tan Shahan from the Wu opera troupe had a good voice, but I had only heard about it. I had never seen her performance. I didn't know that when Tan Shahan came here on the first day, as soon as she opened her voice, teacher She was I was shocked, and when she came on stage, I was even more shocked. This is simply a person who is born to be on the stage and under the spotlight. Although there are no spotlights in the dance hall, only rotating ball lights, roller lights, and multi-head rotating lights, she looks like a star even in such lights. Teacher She immediately decided that this year he must recommend her to participate in the Sanjiang Singers Grand Prix organized by the Hangzhou Municipal Arts Center in October. There was only one person looking at Tan Shahan on the stage. Her face turned green. If her heart could be taken out for examination, it would definitely be full of thorns. That was Shen Linlin, the original pillar of the art troupe. Shen Linlin knew that the stage belonged to her. It was ended, and the one who ended it was Tan Shahan, who came like an alien. To teacher She's surprise and joy, the business of the song and dance hall of the cultural center suddenly improved. Male guests bought tickets, while female guests were free of charge. The reason for the good business was, of course, the large increase in male guests. And these male guests were all here to see Tan Shahan. There were so many people that not only all the seats around the dance floor were filled, but later even more than half of the dance floor was occupied. There was no room left to dance. It didn't matter. They weren't here to dance anyway. But I came to see Tan Shahan. Tan Shahan got on the stage and could hardly get off. As soon as Tan Shahan got off the stage, Shen Linlin came up. Unexpectedly, people below her kept booing and booing her. Shen Linlin almost cried while standing on the stage. The musicians also looked at Shi on the side. Teacher, I'm at a loss. Do you want to start this as a prelude? The boos continued. Teacher Shi came on stage, hugged Shen Linlin and came down, letting Tan Shahan go up again. Tan Shahan looked at Shen Linlin and felt very embarrassed, but the musicians had already played the prelude to On the Field of Hope. Tan Shahan had to come on stage. The next day, Shen Linlin was so angry that she didn't come back. She was sulking at home, and she was actually a little bit pretentious, thinking that teacher She would send someone to call her. I won't go as soon as you call me, at least. I have to call you 3 times, okay, okay, then I will go reluctantly, because we are all so familiar with each other. But at 11 o'clock in the evening, no one came to call her. Shen Linlin was so angry that she broke several teeth of a plastic comb. She was angry, but she couldn't sleep. At about 12 o'clock, she thought, maybe it was because she didn't go. There was no one in the dance hall today. If there was no one, of course teacher she wouldn't let her go. People come and call themselves. Shen Linlin couldn't help but come out of her home and walk towards the cultural center. When she was almost walking to the cultural center, she saw a large wave of people coming down from above. The song and dance hall had just ended. It wasn't that no one came, but people that Shen Linlin had never seen before. So many people. Shen Linlin hurriedly hid behind a tree on the side of the road, fearing that someone would recognize her. After everyone dispersed, Shen Linlin waited for a while and saw teacher Shi and the people from the art troupe coming downstairs from a distance. Everyone was surrounding Tan Shahen like stars. If the heart could be taken out and examined, Shen Linlin's heart, at this time it was not only covered with thorns, but also poking outward one by one. After they walked out of the door, they walked in the opposite direction to Shen Linlin. Shen Linlin knew that they were going to have supper. People from the art troupe come to perform every day purely out of their own hobbies and have no income. All the income from tickets and drinks is used to support the cultural undertakings of the masses in Yongcheng. However, when business is good, teacher Shi feels bad. We'll treat them to midnight snacks. It looks like business is good today. Teacher Shi led them past the wonton and dumpling stall they frequented. Instead of sitting down to eat wonton dumplings, they continued walking until they reached the entrance of the district primary school. Teacher Shi asked the boss to put the 2 tables together. Make one and invite everyone to sit down. Shen Linlin followed from a distance, and the thorns poking out made her hurt. When she saw them, they were so happy, as if there had never been a person like her. They were all excited. He picked up a cup to pay tribute to Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen did not drink, but held a can of coconut juice and touched them one by one with a smile. She seemed to be in high spirits. What makes Shen Linlin the most angry is that the guy who pesters her every day, who plays the saxophone, keeps picking up the cup and paying homage to Tan Shahen, with a fawning and flattering look, as if he is happier now that Shen Linlin is not here. Humph, look at me and I will ignore you again. Shen Linlin poked all the thorns into Dian Wu, trying to pierce the black scab on his chin and draw blood all over his face. Shen Linlin stayed at home for 3 days and felt haggard. Her mother noticed it. During dinner, her mother asked, "Why haven't you performed in the past 2 days?" Uncomfortable. Shen Linlin snorted angrily. Her mother quickly reached out to touch her forehead, but Shen Linlin avoided it. Shen Linlin sat in her room, sulking. She opened the drawer and took out the incomplete plastic comb. She continued to fold the teeth on it back and forth, and finally broke the last tooth. Shen Linlin also she ran out of ideas and wanted to cry, but she couldn't. She looked at the alarm clock on the table and saw that it was already 6:30. She couldn't help it anymore and stood up. Shen Linlin walked downstairs and walked in the direction of the cultural center involuntarily. She really likes singing. Although she has studied with teacher Shi for 3 years, teacher Shi also recommends her every year to participate in the Sanjiang Singers Grand Prix held by the Hangzhou City Art Center. She has won 3 outstanding awards that everyone can share. There is no better ranking. But she still likes to sing. She feels uncomfortable if she doesn't sing for 1 day. This has been 3 days. With great humiliation, Shen Linlin walked up the stairs step by step and entered the song and dance hall. Teacher Shi saw her as if nothing had happened. She thought about it and told Tan Shahen that she would let Linlin go up first today. "You come up later." Tan Shahen said yes. Tan Shahen walked over, as if she looked familiar, looked at Shen Linlin and said, "Why haven't you been here these 2 days? Are you sick?" Shen Linlin nodded quickly. Throughout the night, Tan Shahen was the only person who cared about why she hadn't come in the past 2 days. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 655. After Shen Linlin finished singing, Teacher Shi deliberately arranged for a man to come up and sing 2 songs. He also asked the musicians to play "Oh, Susanna" before letting Tan Shahen come up. Teacher Shi's idea was that in this way, the audience there wouldn't be a direct comparison between the 2 female singers. Shen Linlin herself wouldn't care that much, right? She knew that Shen Linlin was vomiting in her heart. Fortunately, Tan Shahen was not as experienced as her. As soon as Tan Shahen went up, there was thunderous applause in the dance hall. After Tan Shahen went up, she couldn't get down, but she knew only a few songs. She had no choice but to play out all the children's songs she had learned to put her daughter to sleep, and everyone still applauded and screamed. After finishing the children's songs, she simply sang a cappella part of the Wu opera Shui Lai Mei at the end. Those young people who had never listened to or watched the opera realized that the Wu opera was also so good. Especially when Tan Shahen stood on the stage, singing and performing at the same time, it was so enjoyable. Teacher Shi was listening on the side, and was secretly shocked. Tan Shahen had been singing alone on the stage for almost an hour, and her voice didn't sound tired at all. It was really incredible. After the song and dance hall ended, Teacher Shi took them to have midnight snacks as usual. They had been having midnight snacks for the past few days. Everyone in the art troupe was very excited. Only Shen Linlin was languid. Tan Shahen noticed it and came over to hold her hand. "Go with her." Tan Shahen and Shen Linlin said, "You sing really well, but I can't sing songs like yours." When they went to karaoke, they all laughed at me and said that I turned any popular song into a drama. This is a popular singing method that praises Shen Linlin. Shen Linlin smiled and said, "No, national singing method shows her skills. What about Kung Fu? I am different from you. I am here to eat." When you were in elementary school, I was a young student of the theater troupe. I practiced Kung Fu every day. If you started learning so early, you would definitely be better than me, Tan Shahen said. These words were polite, but Shen Linlin felt very comfortable listening to them. They arrived at the food stall in front of the district primary school. When the boss saw them, he put 2 tables together and made 1 table without any instructions. Tan Shahen pulled Shen Linlin to sit with her. Shen Wu wanted to sit next to Shen Linlin. Shen Linlin cursed softly. "Roll." Yudian Wu was stunned for a moment, thinking that Shen Linlin was joking, and was about to continue sitting down, but Shen Linlin cursed again, "Get out." Yudian Wu saw Shen Linlin's cold face and knew that she was not joking, so he walked over and sat down. Halfway through the late-night snack, a table of 7 or 8 people came to the side. They looked like young people from society. As soon as they sat down, they started drinking together. Someone looked over and spotted Tan Shahen and shouted, "Hey, isn't this the one who sings in the dance hall?" People at the table looked this way, and their eyes lit up. Someone came over with a cup, wanted to offer Tan Shahen wine, and said to her, "You sang so well. I listened there all night, and it moved my heart." All moved. Tan Shahen smiled, quickly picked up the coconut juice and said thank you. Someone shouted from the side, "Where is the heartbeat? Is that person so carefree?" When Tan Shahen heard this, the smile on her face faded and she put down the coconut juice in her hand. Almost all the people at the table gathered around, and the man continued to hold the cup and said to Tan Shahen, "Come on, let's have a deep and emotional relationship." Tan Shahen shook her head. "Why, you don't drink?" the man asked. "You look down on me." Tan Shahen sat silently, But teacher she quickly stood up and shouted, "We are having a midnight snack." Before she finished speaking, someone held her shoulders, pushed her down, and cursed, "Old witch, sit down, no one will be moved if they see you." "It's not moving anywhere," someone shouted. Others laughed. Teacher she blushed. Shen Linlin saw all this and secretly rejoiced in her heart. She thought that the more trouble these people made, the better. "Please be respectful to others," Tan Shahen said. What did you say?" The man approached Tan Shahen and said jokingly, "Speak louder, I can't hear you." "Please be respectful to others," Tan Shahen repeated. "Haha, I respect you very much. If you strip naked in front of me, I will respect you very much." "Pa!" With a sound, Tan Shahen slapped the man. The man got angry and shouted, "You don't know how to behave." He cursed and wanted to throw the wine in his hand at Tan Shahen, but his hand was grabbed by someone, and then he was pulled away from Tan Shahen. The person looked back and his face turned pale. He saw that it was Xiao Wu, and Xiao Jin stood behind him, and the one holding his hand was Xiao Wu. There was silence around him. The people at the same table with him had already retreated to their own tables. The man sneered, "Xiao Wu, do you know this guy?" "Say it again." Xiao Wu let go of his hand. The man looked a little embarrassed, hesitated for a moment, and continued to ask, Do you know her?" "Do you still want to continue drinking?" Xiao Wu asked. The man was stunned there and couldn't turn his head around. He didn't know what Xiao Wu meant by what he said. Xiao Jin said from the side, "If you want to, apologize to Sister Shahen. If you don't want to, we will take you to the hospital." The man's face turned pale and he quickly said to Tan Shahen, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were Xiao Wu's." "Get out," Tan Shahen cursed. The man turned around and said to the boss, "Boss, I bought the order for this table." He looked at Xiao Wu and Xiao Jin and saw that they had no expression, so he stepped back. No one at that table spoke. After a while, everyone stood up. "Someone paid for that table." The man took out 200 yuan and gave it to the boss. He pointed to Tan Shahen's table and told the boss that this was from that table. The people at the table left quickly. Xiao Wu nodded towards teacher Shi. They were all in the same system. He looked familiar even though he didn't know him, but teacher Shi knew him and called out, "Xiao Wu, sit down and eat together." Xiao Wu quickly waved his hand and said, you guys eat, we still have friends over there." Xiao Wu and Tan Shahen said, "Sister Shahen, then Xiao Jin and I will go there." Tan Shahen nodded and said, "Yes, thank you, Xiao." Shen Linlin looked at Xiao Wu and cursed in her heart, "What are you meddling in?" Xiao Wu and Xiao Jin walked away. Tan Shahen thought of something and shouted, "Xiao Wu." Xiao Wu stopped and turned around. Tan Shahen stood up, walked over and said to Xiao Wu, "I forgot to tell you, Teacher Li has been looking for you these 2 days, and you haven't returned to the group. What are you looking for me for?" "For this performance, Teacher Li wants you Wushan to participate in a program." "Xiao Jin, you also want to participate?" Mr. Li from the Wu Opera Troupe is the chief director of the opening performance of this art festival. When designing this program, he thought that this performance will be in a square by the river. The performance in the square cannot only include literary operas, but also Wu opera is only lively when it comes to martial arts. This Wu opera is originally composed of light singing and exaggerating the atmosphere of the scene, which is their specialty. Therefore, he thought of arranging a special show for martial arts students, which mainly performs various somersaults, and somersaults are Xiao Wu's specialty. If this guy really needs to work hard, it can be said that there are not many like him in all domestic dramas. The opponent, this one, could definitely be one of the highlights of their show. "No, I won't go," Xiao Wu said. "Go, listen to me, sister. There are so many guests from home and abroad coming this time, and there are so many reporters. Do you know why Teacher Lee arranged this show? Why? Teacher Lee just wants those people to know that our Wu opera is no worse than Peking opera, and we are one of the founders of Peking opera. Do you understand? You don't want to fight for our troupe? Tan Shahen asked. Xiao Wu smiled and said, "No, this shabby theater troupe has nothing to do with me." Tan Shahen hit him and scolded him, "Then you should try to cheer me up. Starting tomorrow, you will all return to the group to practice Kung Fu. Do you hear me?" Xiao Wu and Xiao Jin both scratched their heads, feeling that this was really troublesome. They hadn't practiced in a long time. "If you don't go, I will ignore you from now on." Okay, let's go back," Xiao Wu said quickly. Xiao Wu and Xiao Jin were about to leave, but Tan Shahen remembered something again and stopped them. Xiao Wu looked at Teacher Shi and the others and said with a smile, "Sister Shahen, if you don't eat, the food will be cold." "I hate it." Tan Shahen waved her hand, "this matter is very important." "Sister Shahen, you have nothing to do all year long, why do you have so many important things today?" Xiao Wu asked curiously. Tan Shahen also laughed and said, "This matter is really important." "Okay, tell me, Sister Shahen." "In 2 days, you will accompany me to Hangzhou," Tan Shahen said. "Why go to Hangzhou?" "Sending invitations." "Sending an invitation?" "Yes, give it to Zhang Chen." "What, you are getting married again?" It's an invitation to Zhang Chen to come back to the art festival." "I'll go." "Why would you ask me to go for something like this?" "Didn't I ask you to help Lao Gui?" Tan Shahen said, "Zhang Chen is so famous now. He is all over the newspapers and TV. If Yang Chen is going to hold an art festival, of course we should invite him back as a guest. People in the county, if you don't know him, but know that he is originally from the cultural system, let the cultural bureau invite him, and you also know those people from the cultural bureau. Brother Chen will not offend any of them." "Yes, so they said that Zhang Chen originally belonged to the troupe and asked the troupe to be responsible for inviting him. Wouldn't this fall on Lo Gui? Then old Uncle Gui can just go. It's not like he doesn't know Brother Chen, why does he still need me to accompany him?" Tan Shahen was silent for a moment and said softly, Lo Gui is worried that Zhang Chen won't betray his face when he goes there. That's why he asked you to accompany him." "No, they have already met." "Ah, what did you say?" Tan Shahen was surprised. "Last time, during the spring festival, when Brother Chen returned to the troupe, he had already met Lao Gui in the troupe," Xiao Wu said. "This old lady didn't even tell me." Tan Shahen bit her lip and asked, "Do you know them? Are you unhappy?" "No, I think they are pretty good." Tan Shahen breathed a sigh of relief. "Sister Shahen, there is actually a person who has a great reputation. If he wants to speak, Brother Chen will definitely not refuse." "Who?" Tan Shahen became alert. She thought Xiao Wu was talking about Lu Ligan. "You," Xiao Wu said, "who doesn't know that you and Brother Chen are the most vocal in the group? If you ask, Brother Chen will definitely agree." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 656. Originally, there were only 3 people who were going to sing solos in the entire Wu Opera Troupe Art Festival. One was Tan Shahen, and the other 2 were Feng Logui and Su Jianmei. Feng Logui was too busy. The troupe was suddenly taken seriously by the county. It had to rehearse new plays and accompany stars from other places at the art festival. They were mainly members of their troupe. This also required prepare. Needless to say, professionals are still professionals. Let the erhu player play the guitar, and the drummer Mr. Su play the jazz drums. Within a few days of playing, he was still decent, no worse than the few people in the art troupe. Besides, they have also been in trouble in the past few years. Teacher Lee is taking them to help the local provincial state-owned enterprises in Yongcheng and participate in various competitions and performances in the system. I don't know if their equipment is better than that of the art troupe at the County Cultural Center. Many of these Western musical instruments, they are also exposed to them on a daily basis. The position of leader of the Wu Opera Troupe has always been held by Ding Begu. The actual work is managed by Feng Logui, the deputy leader. Anyway, the troupe has been left alone in the past, and nothing happened. There is someone in the office. When attending a meeting, it is enough for someone to sign up on behalf of the troupe. The troupe has always been neglected, and there will be no mistakes if there are no performances. Everyone thinks it is good. But this year the troupe was suddenly taken seriously. In addition to arranging new plays, the most important thing is to regain the hearts of those who have been separated. Feng Logui has become particularly special. He is so busy that many people are still in the troupe in name, but in reality they cannot see him for several months. Some even went to perform with other groups, or simply took classes in other units. Feng Logui had to find these one by one. He would have no time to learn singing from teacher Shi, not to mention, from the bottom of his heart, Feng Logui still looked down on teacher Shi. According to his position, Feng Logui is on the same level as the deputy director of the cultural center. In terms of profession, the theater troupe is the professional literary and art worker. You, a music teacher in the cultural center, are just a half-baked person. You are similar to the ant in the neighborhood committee. At most, you can only how is it possible to fool those amateurs and ask me to learn from you half-heartedly. Feng Logui is not Tan Shahen. She does not have the humility to think that she is not good at this, but you are better than me, and you are my teacher. She does not have the drive to do whatever it takes, not to be ashamed to ask questions, and to strive to make herself perfect. He reasoned that he was busy with work and told Tan Shahen, "You can try it first, and you can teach me after you have learned it. Besides, you are the protagonist of the show originally, and I am just there to help balance the male-female ratio. Just shout 2 songs at will." Tan Shahen had no choice but to let him, and Tan Shahen let him. Another reason was that she felt that she and Feng Logui had to go in and out at the same time. For some reason, she always felt a little awkward. Even when going to and from get off work, they had never gone to the same place. Although they acted together on stage, lived together in life, and were married for more than 2 years, the two of them never had any conflicts. But when it comes to how good it is, I really can't say. Emotion is a word I don't even dare to think about. It's just a habit. I'm used to having you in my sight, in my life, and even in my bed. Once you get used to it, you will have a kind of understanding, and you will be careful not to hurt the other person, and you will also pay attention to taking care of the other person in the scene. In the dead of night, you will also be considerate of the other person's needs, and take care of the other person to satisfy them. Feng Logui never went to teacher Shi once. Suji and me I went once, but not again the second time. Suji and me I did not go again. The first time she went with Tan Shahen, she discovered from teacher Shi's eyes that when she looked at Tan Shahen, she was surprised, but when she looked at herself, she was coping. Suji and me I suddenly lost interest. Besides, she also despises teacher Shi from the bottom of her heart. She also feels that the nature of your work in the cultural center is to enrich the amateur cultural life of the masses. This is all written in the job responsibilities of your cultural center. Do you see that it is amateur work? You are just a cultural neighborhood committee, our theater troupe is the professional one. Besides, you are nothing but a staff member of a small cultural center. Even Deputy Director Ding respects me. What are you? I am busy. Anyone who wants to learn from you can learn from you. Anyway, I don't want to. In the past 2 years, Ding Begu encountered two major events. The first was the death of his wife, who had been ill for many years. The second was the retirement of Deputy Director Rao at the end of last year, with whom he disliked each other. Ding Begu got his wish and became the Deputy Director of the Yongcheng County Cultural Bureau. The Wu opera troupe has had nothing bad happen in the past 2 years. In addition, life in the county is not as tight as in previous years. There is no money to arrange new plays, but the county can guarantee the basic salary of the troupe members. When the county finance allocated funds, it was allocated according to the establishment of the theater troupe, but in actuality, there were not that many people receiving salaries in the theater troupe. There are a total of 8 or 9 people like Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan whose salaries are allocated by the county finance on time every month. When they arrive at the troupe, they have already stopped paying. This part of the money is used as the troupe's office expenses. In this way, the troupe's phone number has also been answered, and the electricity bill has been settled. People in the troupe get a basic salary. Those who can earn extra money outside can earn extra money. Those who can't earn it just stay at home and drink yellow soup every day. Anyway, their lives are pretty good. No one will be like those people in the Yu Opera troupe. Go to the Cultural Bureau on March 5th, and go to the county government on February 46th. In addition, Feng Logui shivered when he saw the leader. He never came to the bureau to ask for this or that. The bureau also felt that it was very worry-free. If the system hadn't called for the Wu opera troupe in the meeting, the entire bureau would have Yongcheng. I almost forgot about the theater troupe. It wasn't until this year that the troupe suddenly received more attention than it was discovered that Deputy Director Ding is also the leader of the troupe. This leader is not as annoying as he was back then. He can do both, and maybe he can make money from the troupe. Achievements. After being away from the troupe for several years, Captain Ding finally pushed his 28-inch permanent bicycle from the semicircular ramp to the Jiaofeng. After going to the troupe, Captain Ding's biggest discovery was that Su Jianmei was already on the road from a big girl to an old girl, and she was still single. This made the widowed Captain Ding's eyes light up. Aren't you trying to win back the lost hearts? Captain Ding had no hesitation and put the task of talking to Su Jianmei on himself. Su Jianmei's mind is quite complicated and she needs Captain Ding to talk every day and every night. They went from face-to-face talks to long talks, to hand-in-hand talks, and finally to sitting side by side on the bed. Su Jianmei's thoughts finally changed. Made the decision to take over the important position of Deputy Director Ding's wife. Even Deputy Director Ding must put me in his eyes. How could I put you, an ordinary staff member of a small cultural center, in his eyes? Therefore, Tan Shehen was the only one who actually learned from teacher Shi. Tan Shehen never tires of it. Not only does she learn to sing, she also enjoys cooperating with other people in the art troupe and enjoying the long-lost applause and cheers in the song and dance hall. For an actor, days without applause are so painful. At the same time, she also enjoys this brand new world. Really, for her, this performance every night is a new world. Everything she watches is new. Tan Shehen grew up in a theater troupe. The theater troupe is actually a small closed world. As a child, there are teachers who control what you should do every day, including when to go to bed, when to get up, when to eat and practice. There are rules and pointers. When you get older, although this restriction no longer exists, you have already formed a habit. For example, when the rooster crows, no one stipulates that you have to get up. Tan Shehen will definitely get up and babble, then eat breakfast and finish eating. Breakfast and rehearsal, then lunch, lunch break, rehearsal, dinner, rehearsal, then bed. Compared with when I was a child, the daily content does not increase much. The same goes for when you go out to perform. Where will you sleep, what will you eat, and how will you move around when changing venues? The group will make arrangements. There are also prescribed times for when to put on makeup and when to go on stage. What clothes to wear are also stipulated by the plot. When I go to other places and I am not familiar with the place, I almost never go out alone. When I go out, I go with a few people, and I almost never go out alone. Even in the past few years when the troupe was put aside, Tan Shahen had no chance or need to interact with outsiders except going to the market to buy vegetables and going home to cook and take care of her children. In addition, the house they lived in after getting married also belonged to the original U Opera troupe, and the people who lived in it were all members of the original U Opera troupe. Tan Shahen got up early every morning to sing, and no one felt noisy. Every day during the day, upstairs and downstairs, on the contrary, from time to time, you will hear babbling sounds, which means someone has an itchy throat. The house of the U Opera troupe is walked in from a small road below Jiao Fang of the Wu Opera troupe. The Yongchen Wu Opera troupe is at the foot of Qingyu Mountain. To be precise, it is on the hillside. The original Yongchen Yu Opera troupe is on the edge. In the valley, Tan Shahen lived here, and she simply felt that it was not much different from when she was in the theater troupe. She just went from a small closed environment to another small closed environment, and she was still insulated from the outside world. Even from the daily chats of the people in their troupe, it can be heard that they all refer to the outside world as society, and society now in this way. The current situation in society is a distant thing, and in our group, the group is our group, not my group. Growing up in such an environment, Tan Shahen developed a character that is both arrogant and somewhat inferior. Her inferiority complex means that she feels that she does not understand anything in society. Society is simply a scourge. Let herself leave the troupe and put her in society. She will be a little at a loss and not know how to face it. Aloofness is because when our group separates itself from society, society is actually a bit derogatory. Society is like this, society is like that, society is messy, and there is no simplicity and beauty in the group. In this group, Independence in the Castle, Tan Shahen is the princess that everyone coaxes. How can she not be aloof? But deep in the heart of every princess, there is a faint longing for the world outside the castle, and Tan Shahen is no exception. Thinking about it, Tan Shahen and Zhang Chen are the most friendly, and they are dating Lu Ligan. It's because these two people are different from those in the troupe who also grew up in the student class. They are not born and raised in the troupe, they are outsiders. They have a social atmosphere and a fresh atmosphere, which is what attracts Tan Shahen. Since Tan Shahen participated in the nightly performances of the Yongcheng art troupe, she felt that a window had opened in front of her, and she saw everything was new. It turns out that society is like this, and it is not that scary. She seemed to have grown up and really entered society for the first time. Thank you for your monthly votes from Sample Thief, Bustling Farce, Tianying 1978, Joe Yingman, and Andrew. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 657. As soon as July entered, Zhang Chen became very busy. I shouldn't be so busy. At this time, the summer clothes have already been finalized. All I need is to add some new styles. The pressure on clothing design and sampling is not great. If there is pressure, it is also due to production, and it is Zhao Zhigang's pressure. Another thing that made Zhang Chen very busy was that the costumes he and He Hongmei designed for the film produced by Sansa Pictures were approved. Zhang Chen originally thought that designing costumes was just a very simple matter. After the script is designed and approved, if we still need to produce it, we will produce it. Unexpectedly, this matter was far from as simple as he imagined. After passing the test, Zhang Chen kept receiving calls from Harada Shino, informing him to have meetings with the screenwriter, director, cinematographer, stage manager, and lighting props. Even with actors, the Japanese work attitude is particularly rigorous, and it can even be said that it is as rough as a turtle's hair. Every detail needs to be revised and confirmed repeatedly. Just the director, assistant director, Zhang Chen, and He Hongmei went to more than a dozen meetings. Meetings alone were not enough. When they went to choose a location, Zhang Chen and He Hongmei had to go with them. Zhang Chen thought to himself, what does this have to do with us? But after arriving at the scene, Zhang Chen felt that it made sense to come. Clothing is worn on people, and people move around in these scenes. A piece of clothing, whether it is style or color, is different indoors and outdoors, and it is even more different in real scenes and on camera. Every time Zhang Chen came back, he felt that he needed to make changes to the design draft. There will be close-ups in the movie, and the director requires that the costumes of the leading actors should not have traces of modern industry. After all, it is a costume drama. You can't zoom in and see that the costumes are made with double needle machines. They must be restored to the original style. The handmade work at that time, and even the needlework, had to use the needlework at that time. Fortunately, Zhang Chen once tore through a copy of Shen Kongwen's research on ancient Chinese costumes and knew a little bit about it. The director also gave Zhang Chen the job of finding hand-sewing workers, which was hard work again. Zhang Chen, even Zhao Zhigang, who runs a tailor shop, has never sewn a piece of clothing by hand, let alone the clothes of the ancients. Fortunately, there is still time. Zhang Chen wonders if it is because of the Japanese that the preparation period for a movie is so long. It means that from the time the script was released last year to the actual start of production, it was November this year. Thinking that from now to November, there is still such a long time that he will be tortured by this matter, Zhang Chen feels a little scared, and even feels that he was too hasty when he agreed to this matter. But Zhang Chen is not a person who gives in easily. He feels that he should do this well. Not only is he committed to and is responsible for Harada Shino, but he can also learn a lot from the Japanese through his contacts with them. The Japanese have the spirit of grinding an iron pestle into a needle, which is why their products are so delicate. Isn't this what I am pursuing? Zhang Chen told himself. Zhang Chen and He Hongmei came back from the filming location of Wuxi in Zheji. When they returned to the factory, it was already past 7 o'clock in the evening. Neither of them had eaten dinner. Zhang Chen walked to the canteen and asked the master to fry 2 dishes for him. He and He Hongmei walked to the staff restaurant. There is a large TV in the restaurant. Several people from the maintenance team watch TV here when they have nothing to do at night. Zhang Chen and He Hongmei sit at the table behind them and wait for their meals. After climbing the mountain for a day, both of them were a little tired. They sat there and stared at the TV with dull eyes. Someone was holding the remote control and kept changing channels back and forth. Wait, go back quickly. Zhang Chen suddenly shouted. He had just been in a flash. It seemed to be a news program on CCTV. He heard the announcer say the word Hainan, and he suddenly became interested. The person holding the remote control changed the channel and looked back at Zhang Chen, asking him if it was this one. Zhang Chen stood up and walked over, simply took the remote control over, quickly changed one by one, and finally found CCTV. It turned out that the observation and thinking column hosted by Fang Hongjin was indeed talking about the real estate in Hainan and Bihai, Guangxi. Zhang Chen was shocked. He heard the term Hainan real estate bubble for the first time. A large number of unfinished buildings and buildings appeared in the camera. There are pits one after another, as well as large tracts of farmland destroyed by excavators in Yangpu. Something happened in Hainan. And it's real estate. Zhang Chen then thought that he was too busy during this period. He had not contacted Lu Ligan and Meng Ping for a long time. Zhang Chen quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed Lu Ligan's mobile phone. The mobile phone number was unavailable. Zhang Chen called his office, but no one answered. Zhang Chen then dialed Meng Ping's number, but the call didn't go through either. His calls to Qianfang and Su Jiaking also didn't go through. "It's over," Jiang Chen lamented in his heart. He had a very ominous premonition that something had happened to them. No wonder they hadn't called him for so long. It's no wonder that it took Jiang Chen such a long time to find out by chance that something big happened in Hainan. It was an era of limited information. If someone hadn't told people about Hainan's thrilling situation, people in the mainland wouldn't have known about it. From newspapers and TV, there is no news at all. I still have to thank CCTV for its observation and thoughts column, which would be renamed Focus Interview later that year, allowing people on the mainland to know for the first time what happened in Hainan, from the formation of the bubble to its bursting. After that, more articles and reports began to appear in books, newspapers, and magazines. The chef in the cafeteria brought them food, but Jiang Chen stood up and walked around in the restaurant. He then dialed Lao Tan. Mr. Tan's phone number was also unreachable. He called Li Yong and Chen Qiang. Their phone numbers were the same. No way. Is the entire Hainan submerged in the sea? Why can't I get through a single phone call? Master, it's time to eat. He Hung Mei called him. Although she had watched the entire program, she was confused and didn't know what happened. Land and real estate sounded to her like very distant and unfamiliar things, no matter whether it was shattered or not. You eat, you eat. Jiang Chen murmured and walked out. He walked to the office, found his address book in the drawer, and flipped through it. He found Huang Jianren's phone number, and the call also failed. Jiang Chen called Xiao Zhao. As soon as Xiao Zhao picked up the phone, he heard Jiang Chen crying. Xiao Zhao was startled and shouted quickly, "What's wrong with you? Gangzi, Mengping, and the others might have had an accident." Xiao Zhao, Hainan is over. Ganzi, Mengping, and the others have had an accident. Xiao Zhao was shocked and asked quickly, "How did you know?" "I just saw on TV that the real estate bubble in Hainan has burst. I called Mengping on the phone, but I couldn't get through." "How could their phone not get through? They used to get through as soon as they called." "Don't worry, they may have something going on, just call Qianfang and ask." "I've called Qianfang, Su Jiaking, Li Yong, and Chen Qiang, but they all don't work. I even called Brother Tan, but they don't work either." Xiao Zhao also felt that the matter was serious and said anxiously, "Oh, what should I do?" After a while, Xiao Zhao thought of it and shouted, "By the way, where is Mr. Xie?" Yes, there is Lao Xie," Jiang Chen also shouted. Jiang Chen rummaged through the address book in the big brother's office, but could not find Mr. Xie's phone number. He also searched in the address book and couldn't find it. Only then did Jiang Chen remember that he had never had a phone call with Mr. Xie. When they were in Haikan, if anything happened, they would go there together after Lu Ligan called him. Later, both Jiang Chen and Lao Xie felt that they were so familiar with each other. When they met again, they never thought of exchanging phone numbers, and they never felt the need. It was because of Lu Ligan. If Jiang Chen wants to find Lao Xie now, he must first find Lu Ligan, and he is looking for Lao Xie just to find Lu Ligan. Jiang Chen kept rubbing his face with both hands. He was thinking about any other way to contact any acquaintance in Hainan. He thought of the national telephone directory he bought, quickly picked up the phone on the table, called Xiao Zhao, and asked her where the national telephone directory had been when the stall was moved. "Here I am," Xiao Zhao said. "Bring your phone book with you right away, forget it, just wait in the store and I'll be right over." Jiang Chen put down the phone and ran into the restaurant. He Hung Mei was startled when she saw him coming in. She saw his eyes were red and quickly asked what happened. "Quickly, take me to Xiao Zhao's place." "Ah, what's wrong with Sister Xiao Zhao?" "It's okay, she's okay. Something happened in Hainan. None of Hainan's friends can be found." Jiang Chen detained Xiao Wu on the way, and Xiao Wu called back. Zhang Chen told Xiao Wu that you should go to Zhuangzi's house and see if there is any news about Zhuangzi. What's wrong with brother Zanzi? Xiao Wu asked. Zhang Chen told him, I don't know what happened to the Pole. Anyway, I can't find him. Something happened to Heiken for sure, but I don't know what happened to the Pole and the others. Okay, brother Chen, I'll be there right away. Zhang Chen and He Hongmei arrived at Xiao Zhao's office and picked up the phone book. Zhang Chen found Mr. Tan's Tenglong Decoration Co. Limited. There were 3 phone numbers on it. Zhang Chen called them one by one, but no one answered. If in the past, people in the company would work overtime at this point. Zhang Chen sighed, and then he found Mr. Xie's nightclub. There's no way there's no one in the nightclub now, right? There was only one reservation phone number in the nightclub. Zhang Chen called it. After the phone rang twice, a lazy voice answered. Zhang Chen said to her, please help me ask Manager CAO to answer the phone. He thought of Manager CAO with a nice voice. If he found her, he would definitely find Mr. Xie. Manager CAO? We don't have a Manager CAO here. Is your boss's surname Xie from Hunan? No, you typed it wrong. As the other party said this, he was about to hang up the phone. Xiao Zhao thought of something and asked, Beauty, how long have you been working here? About 10 days. Did your nightclub just get transferred? Yeah, what's wrong? Okay, thank you. After hanging up the phone, the 3 people stared at each other. What they didn't know was that before the real estate bubble, Lao Xie's nightclub business had been deserted for a long time, and then suddenly it became prosperous for more than half a year, making a lot of money. With the end of the Hainan real estate feast, Lao Xie immediately had a premonition that the hard days of nightclubs were coming again. At that time, there were still people holding the money originally intended for real estate speculation to see what else they wanted to do. Lao Xie transferred the nightclub immediately. This time, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were completely at their wits' end. They had no other option but to make all the phone calls they had made again during the day tomorrow. Zhang Chen's eldest brother rang loudly, and it was Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu told Zhang Chen that Lu Ligan's parents were also wondering why Lu Ligan didn't call back for a long time, so he couldn't ask any more questions. I called Ajeng. Ajeng said that he had not contacted the Pole for several months. He also said that all the real estate owners in Heiken have fled, and those who did not escape have probably climbed to the roof and are preparing to jump off the building, Xiao Wu said. Thank you Zhengguang Ion Exchange Resin Ping for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 658. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao stayed up all night. They lay there with their eyes wide open. After thinking for a long time, they couldn't think of any other way to contact Lu Ligan and Meng Ping. Xiao Zhao asked, Dear, tell me, if it is really like what you said, Hainan will be destroyed. It's not true or false. It's the real estate bubble bursting. This is definitely true. CCTV has reported it. How could it be wrong? Okay, then what will happen to Zhuangzi, Lao Meng and the others? Zhang Chen sighed, both of them have so much land, they will probably go bankrupt. What happens if you go bankrupt? Then there will be no money. If you don't have money, you don't have money. Don't we still have money? We can give it to them. Zhang Chen almost laughed. He said, what use is our little money to them? They calculate it in terms of tens of millions or billions. Then it's enough to eat. As long as there is still food to eat, I don't think it's a big deal. Even if there is no food to eat, it's not a big deal. Just make more money. That's what I say, but there's still a difference between having nothing to eat and having nothing to eat. What's the difference? For example, when we had no money, we couldn't afford to eat pianurchuan at Koiwan restaurant. At worst, we would eat at Huixing Road. If now, you only have the money to eat Piener Chuan at Kuiwan restaurant in your pocket, can you bear it? Doesn't that mean Zhang Xiangbei can't even afford milk powder? Right. There are so many workers, aren't they even unable to get their wages paid? Certainly. Oops, can't I even pay the electricity bill in the store? I can't afford taking a taxi every day and I have to ride a bicycle again. Yes. Xiao Zhao thought for a while and sighed, that's really different. It's just different. This has never happened before, and it has happened before, and never again. How can it be the same? As Zhang Chen spoke, he thought that going from not having it to wanting to have it is hope, a process of struggle. From having it to not having it, it would probably be despair, and the pop sound is the process of the bubble bursting. Lu Ligan went from washing the building every day to returning to Yongcheng, where he could hold a big banquet in the Jaxi building and invite as many people as he wanted. He became a guest of the secretary and the county magistrate, and even asked him to borrow 3 million from himself. As soon as he opened his mouth, he said, 20 million, don't use your own money, I will pay you even 20 million. How big will the difference be? Those bankrupt millionaires and multimillionaires in the movie, when they went bankrupt, it didn't mean that they couldn't even afford food, but why did they still jump off the building to commit suicide? What they couldn't stand was this gap. Didn't Ajeng also say, all the real estate bosses in Haikan have fled now, and those who didn't escape probably climbed to the roof and were about to jump off the building? Well, Lu Ligan and Meng Ping are the biggest real estate bosses in Haikan. Zhang Chen almost didn't dare to think about it anymore. Xiao Zhao seemed to have thought of the same question as him. Xiao Zhao asked, my dear, what Xiao Wu said on the phone is that Zhuangzi and Lao Meng, could it be possible? But, they are not the same at all. That kind of people. Yeah, they're not. Zhang Chen said, but he felt that his voice was empty, as if it was ringing far away. He heard himself sighing, and smiled bitterly in his heart, that's because you are not in their position at all, you are not at all. You know, there are many things that people who are not in that position cannot understand at all. 2 dogs barked in the distance. Zhang Chen sat up in excitement. Xiao Zhao asked, what's wrong with you? Give me your brother quickly. Xiao Zhao doubtfully took the mobile phone on the bedside table to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen opened it and hurriedly pressed 0898-670-4431. The call went through, but no one answered. Zhang Chen looked at the number on the screen and murmured. He said, how come no one answered? This number is correct. Where are you hitting? Xiao Zhao asked. I'll go to the small shop in Benya village. Yes. Xiao Zhao also sat up. The owner of that small shop must know the whereabouts of Lu Ligan. He would pass by the door of his shop every day when he went out and came back. Although it was already past 2 o'clock in the morning, the small shop would be open until it's past 5 o'clock, and there won't be anyone there now. Xiao Zhao went over to take a look, laughed, and told Zhang Chen that it was 670-4471, not 431. Zhang Chen quickly redialed the number. After the phone rang twice, he was picked up. Zhang Chen quickly asked, are you Bingo? Yakin. A familiar voice came from the phone, Ruo. Both Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Xiao Zhao nodded desperately, and Zhang Chen said, hello, boss, I am Zhang Chen who used to live in Yilan's house. Oh, you are the curly hair from Zhejiang. Yes, boss, have you seen the Pole? The one from the Yilan family? I haven't seen him for a long time. Approximately how long? 10 days, half a month like this. Boss, I'm Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao called from the side. Haha, Xiao Zhao, oh. Boss, have you seen Wen Wen and Qian? They are no longer here. Where did you go? When I went back to my hometown, I saw the Pole that sent them away. That Pole probably lost money in real estate speculation and went bankrupt. Ah, boss, how do you know? He used to drive a car or ride a motorcycle, but now he rides a bicycle here. There are no motorcycles or cars anymore. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "Boss, can you help me go and see if there is anyone there? Then wait here." The boss said and put down the phone and went to check for Zhang Chen and the others. After a while, he came back, but he was not alone. Yilin's mother followed him. Before Zhang Chen could speak, Yilin's mother shouted loudly and asked them if they knew. "Where is Lu Ligan? He hasn't come back for several days. Could it be that the building cannot be sold?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao asked Yilin's mother how she knew Lu Ligan's building could not be sold. Yilin's mother told them about the day she and Wen Wenqian went to Lu Ligan's company to buy off the plan property, and he cried. "Come here," Yilin's mother told them. Zhang Chen's heart felt cold as he listened. It seemed that his guess was correct. Lu Ligan did not escape this disaster. Zhang Chen comforted Yilin's mother in turn and told her that Lu Ligan would be fine. He should be on his way back now. When he arrived, he would ask him to call the store. After hanging up the phone, the two of them couldn't sleep anymore. Zhang Chen was thinking in his heart that Lu Ligan's building has always been the most eye-catching in Haikan. If even his building could not sell a single off-plan apartment, if he goes out, it goes without saying that Mengping will only become worse. Zhang Chen didn't even dare to say this to Xiao Zhao. It was already done outside. Zhang Xiangbei woke up crying. Xiao Zhao sat up and fed him. While feeding him, tears rolled down his face. He cursed, "This Pole, and Lao Mang, what are they doing? He doesn't even tell us everything, he's still Bai Bei's godfather." At 9 o'clock in the morning, the two of them simply carried Zhang Xiangbei and the national telephone directory and went to the factory. In the office, they closed the door. They took the phones and dialed all the numbers again. Still haven't found anyone. Xiao Zhao flipped through the phone book and told Zhang Chen a number. Zhang Chen asked, "Where is this?" "Lin Yiyan's bank," Xiao Zhao said. "Yes, looking for Lin Yiyan." The fire of hope rekindled in Zhang Chen's eyes. He quickly dialed the number and the call went through. A voice on the phone asked Zhang Chen coldly who he was looking for. Zhang Chen told him to find Lin Yiyan. The other party said that Lin Yiyan was not here. "Excuse me, where are you going?" Zhang Chen asked. "How do I know where I am? You ask me, and I still want to ask you. It's been almost a month, and she has disappeared. She has a lot of bad clients on her hands, and she has to be dealt with by others," the other party said angrily. Said, "By the way, don't call her again. She will definitely be fired when she comes back. I won't let her stay for one humming minute longer." You," Zhang Chen yelled into the microphone. The two waited in agony for another 2 days, but still had no news. In the afternoon of this day, Zhang Chen and He Hongmei had a meeting with Harada Shino and the film director at the Friendship Hotel. They finally finalized the final plan. Next, Zhang Chen waited for the other party to report the relevant measurements of each actor. We have found workers to find raw materials for production. The work here can come to an end for the time being. Zhang Chen heaved a sigh of relief. The two of them went to the store. Xiao Wan asked He Hongmei if she had something to do. She wanted to take Zhang Xiangbei with her to see if he was asleep, so she walked out alone. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "I want to go to Haikan." "What?" Xiao Zhao was surprised. "Waiting like this is not the answer." "I want to go to Haikan to find them," Zhang Chen said. "But if you go, what if you meet those people?" Xiao Zhao shook his head. "No, I don't agree, it's too dangerous." "No, think about it, it's been so long, are they still waiting at the airport every day, and will they find me as soon as I arrive? Then you have to stay in a hotel, right? The hotel is full of their people. They only need to go to the front desk to see who has checked in. Don't make it too convenient. I don't need to stay in the hotel. When I arrive, I will go directly to Yilin's house. Are you crazy? Do you know how many of those bad guys on the streets of Binya village are from them? I'm afraid someone will tip you off before you even get to Yilin's house. Jiang Chen had to admit that Xiao Zhao's idea was right. Those bad guys in Binya village, including that ghost and his men, you don't know how they are inextricably linked. Going to Yilin's house is too dangerous. But if they don't go, Jiang Chen feels that he can't help it. Without knowing their whereabouts, he really can't even concentrate on other things. I don't have to stay in a hotel. I live in Haikao Park, they can't find me anyway, Jiang Chen said. Okay, let's go together, take Bai Bei with us, Xiao Zhao said. You're crazy. I'm alone. If I encounter those bad guys, I can still find a way to escape. How can I escape with you and Zhang Xiangbei? I'm not crazy. I told you, Jiang Chen, our family will die together even if we die together. I won't let you go alone. Then we too are worried at home. If you want to go to Haikan, then okay, I don't want to stop you, I also want to find them, let's go together. I'm not afraid of anything, I just want to be a family together. Jiang Chen was silent. He couldn't afford this price. He knew that Xiao Zhao would definitely do this if he said it. Even if he went there secretly, it would be useless. After Xiao Zhao knew about it, he would definitely join forces. The nearest plane will fly over, and there will be a family of 3 in Haikan. He is looking for Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, and Xiao Zhao is looking for him with Zhang Xiangbei in his arms. He didn't know if those bad guys were still looking for them. At least the bad guys who knew them would definitely report them to Hong Ganglu when they saw them. Even though it had been so long, for Hong Ganglu, it still didn't matter. Finished. Tuk tuk tuk, someone knocked on the door. Xiao Zhao said, come in. The door opened and it was Xili. Xili said, boss, someone is looking for you. Xili stepped aside, and 2 people appeared outside the door. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao saw it and screamed. Zhang Xiangbei was frightened and woke up, crying wildly, but they couldn't care about him anymore, and both of them rushed forward towards the door. Standing outside the door were Wu Ziyai and Wei Venfang. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 659. Wu Ziyai and Wei Venfang told Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao everything that had happened in Haikan. The 2 of them were frightened as they listened, but they felt more at ease. Whether it was good news or bad news, it was better than no news at all. Be good. Judging from the narrations of Wu Ziyai and Wei Venfang, both Lu Ligan and Meng Ping are safe. One surrenders on his own, and the other is taken away by the police. Their lives are safe, which is better than being raped by bad guys like Zheng. Entangled. However, the whereabouts of Chen Qiang, Lin Yiyan, and Li Yong are still unknown, which is even more worrying. Jiang Chen thought to himself that Meng Ping must have thought through all the consequences when he surrendered himself. Therefore, before he left, he would send Qianfang and the others away. Meng Ping's whereabouts should be in Wuxi, but Lu Ligan, although he was taken away by the police, Wu Ziyai and Wei Venfang didn't know where they were. It shouldn't be from Haikan, Wei Venfang said. We went to all the police stations and public security bureaus in Haikan the next day to ask. They didn't know about it. Some people told us that it must be from mainland China. The police took them away. During this period, many police from the mainland went to Haikan. Yes, I don't think those people are from Hainan, Wu Ziyai also said. But the police don't just take people around. They have to commit a crime before they will arrest you. Meng Ping did it because of the 60 million. Lu Ligan had never done anything like this, so why would he come to arrest him? Zhang Chen asked Wei Wenfang, does your company have anything else to do? Wei Wenfang shook his head and said no. As for the project payment, is there anything you owe? When the Xinbu Island project was stopped, all the project payments were settled, and what was owed was the land transfer fee from the Haikan city government. The one who has not yet settled the project payments is Jinghai Center, but the boss of Jinghai Center, Mr. Liu, gave him more than 1.3 million the day before, and he even drove our car away, Wei Wenfang said. It can't be him, Wu Zhaowei said, this guy has already escaped, and the contractors are still looking for him. How dare he come to the door? Zhang Chen himself rejected this idea. Even if it was him, it was just a civil lawsuit and had nothing to do with the police. Does your company have any other debts or legal disputes? No, as you know, our company is very simple. The money comes from Beijing. If there is anything else, it is the people who came that day. That's even more irrelevant. That money has nothing to do with you at all. That bastard Zheng is just here to blackmail you. Zhang Chen knew what Wei Wenfang was talking about and immediately ruled it out. Wei Wenfang and Wu Zhaowei also nodded, and they thought so. Is it related to sending Lao Meng to Sanya? Xiao Zhao asked. Zhang Chen was startled. He said yes. If he wanted to talk about this, he would have to get close to the police. They would look for Poles, but that was impossible. Why? Xiao Zhao asked. Think about it, only if Lao Meng confesses the Pole and then insists that he helped him escape, then nothing will happen. Will Lao Meng do this? Zhang Chen asked, and the other three people immediately shook their heads. As long as Lao Meng doesn't bite the Pole, it's useless even if the police know that they went to Sanya together. Lao Meng can definitely say that the Pole doesn't know anything about him, Zhang Chen said. Will we just call him to find out more about the situation? Xiao Zhao asked. It's possible, Zhang Chen nodded. Wu Zhaowei said, it's impossible. If you want to ask, then you have to take me away. I also went to Sanya together, and I drove the car. When they came, I was at the door of the office, and they all saw me. The other three people all felt that what Wu Zhaowei said made sense. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and held Xiao Wu away. After Xiao Wu came back, Zhang Chen told Xiao Wu about Lu Ligan, but he did not tell Xiao Wu that Zheng had brought someone to find Lu Ligan, otherwise, Xiao Wu can do anything. Zheng lied to Xiao Wu that he hadn't seen Lu Ligan for several months, and he was also worried about this. Zhang Chen didn't tell Xiao Wu because he felt that at this time, it would be better to have one less thing to worry about than one more thing to worry about. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said, no matter where the police take you away, they will at least notify your family, or you can go to Ganza's home to have a look. Xiao Wu agreed that I would go to the police station first and ask their director before going to Ganza's house. Why are you going to the police station? Zhang Chen asked curiously. If the Pole is taken away by police from other places, they may also call the Yongcheng police station to learn about the Pole's condition. Yes, that makes sense. After hanging up Xiao Wu's phone, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, find the phone number of our Wuxi store. Xiao Zhao immediately said, I'll call. Lu Hong and I are very familiar with each other. Lu Hong is their Wuxi agent for half an acre of land. Xiao Zhao called Lu Hong, and the two chatted for a while. Xiao Zhao said he had something to ask her for help. Lu Hong quickly said, what's the matter? Xiao Zhao, please tell me. Xiao Zhao felt that he couldn't explain clearly, so he handed the phone to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen asked Lu Hong, do you know anyone in the Wuxi police station? Yes, I have a good friend. Her husband is from Chang'an branch. What's the matter? I have two friends who have financial problems. One seems to have returned to Wuxi from Hainan and surrendered. The other was taken away by the police, but I don't know if he is from Wuxi. I want to know more about them. Condition. Then tell me their names, and I will go there tomorrow to find my friend's husband. Okay, thank you. As Zhang Chen spoke, he told Lu Hong the names of Meng Ping and Lu Ligan. Lu Hong wrote them down and asked, Mr. Zhang, should I call you or Xiao Zhao tomorrow? Zhang Chen said, everything is fine. You'd better call Mr. Zhang, Lu Hong, there are some things that I don't quite understand, Xiao Zhao called from the side. Okay, then I'll ask Mr. Zhang to call him. Zhang Chen then asked Wu Zia, why, do you know Mr. Tan's situation? Why can't I get through when I call him? Then something must have happened, Wu Zia said, I have never met Lao Tan, but when we sent Lao Meng to Sanya, Mr. Lu also asked the second person, and the second person was very worried, saying that there were many construction sites. Halfway through the installation, the owner didn't know where he had gone. Lao Tan refused to talk to him, but the foreman below told him, and they all said that he might not be able to continue. Now in Heiken, as long as the companies related to real estate are unlucky, no one will end well, and he is probably no exception, Wei Venfang said. Although Zhang Chen called Tan head office's landline several times, but no one answered the call, he had a premonition that the situation was not good. Hearing the news at this time, he still felt sad. It seemed that the entire Heiken was really flooded by the sea. Even worse, how could I not worry about them? You too, what are your plans next? Xiao Zhao asked Wei Venfang. Wei Venfang shook her head and said, I don't know. We have been waiting in the company for more than a week, but there is no news. We can't hold on anymore. Chen Ji also went back to his hometown. Now there is no job in Heiken, so we have to let's go home first. No, we want to visit Xiao Wu's hometown first. If there is nothing suitable to do, then go to our house. If you don't mind, just stay here with us. I'll buy an Ivco. Xiao Wu, you can still help drive the car. Xiao Wei, you can be the office director in my factory. There are more than 200 people in the factory now, and there are all kinds of things, there are many, and we need an office director, but the office conditions now are a bit crude and cannot be compared with your original company, Zhang Chen said. Yes, stay, Xiao Zhao said, it's great if we can all be together. Wu Zia and Wei Venfang looked at each other and laughed. Wu Zia and Zhang Chen said, there's something going on at Qi Lilong's place. We originally wanted to see Mr. Zhang to see if there were any jobs available, but we were too embarrassed to say anything. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed, and Zhang Chen said, when you get here, it's like coming to your own home. If you have anything to do in the future, don't be polite, just ask. Wu Zia and Wei Venfang nodded yet. When Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, He Hongmei, Wei Venfang and Wu Zia were having dinner, Xiao Wu called Zhang Chen and told him that there was no news from the police station. I had already said hello to them. If there was any police from other places, contact them, and they will ask what's going on, and then contact me. Brother Zhang's house, there is still no news about Zhangzi. The next day, Lu Hong called Zhang Chen and told him that your friend Lu Ligan was definitely not in the hands of the Wuxi Public Security Bureau. That Meng Ping, what a coincidence, he had surrendered to the Chang'an branch. Really, what's going on with this case now? The amount is too big, not a small number. I know. You are a very popular friend. My friend's husband secretly told me that he has many friends who are interceding for him. Some of them are very influential in Wuxi, but they are troublesome. What's wrong? Zhang Chen felt strange. There were many friends interceding for Meng Ping. Isn't that a good thing? Why is it still troublesome? The key is that your friend is not very clear about it. Everyone is trying to help him get away with it. It would be better for him to take it all on himself and help others get away with it. In this way, even the people who are helping him are using I'm out of strength. Zhang Chen sighed and said, this is why he went back. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to surrender. Yes, My friend's husband also said that they have never seen such a person when handling a case, but if you want to be friends, you must make such friends. My friend's husband asked me to tell you secretly, there is something very important friends are helping and it can work. Everyone in the bureau sympathizes with him and wants to rely more on him to surrender and reduce his sentence, so you can rest assured. Okay, thank you Lu Hong, and also thank your friend's husband for me, Zhang Chen said. By the way, please ask your friend's husband for help. Just let us know when you can go see Meng Ping. Okay, Mr. Zhang, don't worry, I will keep an eye on this matter. If there is any new news, I will tell you immediately. Goodbye, Mr. Zhang. Bye-bye. Zhang Chen shook his head and thought blankly for a while. It seemed that Meng Ping was benevolent and received mercy. Fortunately, his heart was at ease and he could sleep well at night. This is Lu Ligan now, where will he be? Why, no news from Mr. Lu, Wei Venfang asked. Zhang Chen shook his head, he is not in Wuxi. Then where will he be? I thought about it with Xiao Wu all night last night, but we still couldn't remember. Is there anything else in our company that we don't know about? It's really strange, Wei Venfang said. By the way, are you used to living here? The workers get off work in the middle of the night and it's a bit noisy, Zhang Chen said. It's good. I'm hungry in the middle of the night, so I have a midnight snack when I wake up, Wei Venfang said with a smile. Thank you, Mei. Book friends 2019030054291143, and Cheng Shanming, bronze, 1890-798-3117 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 660. Haha. Boss Zhang is here and he was shot by me. Zhang Chen and Wei Venfang were chatting when someone called out at the door. Zhang Chen turned around and saw that it was the village director of Sanbeo village standing at the door. Zhang Chen quickly stood up. Zhang Chen introduced the director and Wei Venfang to each other and asked, "The director is here. What orders do you have? When you run errands, you open your mouth at the top, but your legs are broken at the bottom," the director shouted. "How dare you give any orders? The city government is looking for you. The phone calls have been made to the village committee, and you have been asked to inform you personally. I had no choice but to run over here. The city government is looking for me? What's the matter? How can I, a vegetable grower, know about your big shots affairs? I just help run errands and inform you." "Director, you are our parent officer," Wei Venfang said from the side. The director smiled happily. He looked at Zhang Chen and said, "Did you see that the director you found is even more sexy than the director I am? He really knows how to talk." Zhang Chen laughed. The director said, "That's it. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you go to 105 of the city government building and find Deputy Director Lu of the city government office. He will meet with you." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, thank you, Director." "Okay, the notification has arrived, my mission is completed." The director turned around and was about to leave. Zhang Chen quickly stopped him and asked, "Director, where is the city government?" The director's eyes widened. "You don't even know where the city government is?" Zhang Chen nodded, "I really don't know. It's really weird. You don't even know where the city hall door opens, and the city government wants to meet with you. I want to have meetings with the city hall every day, but unfortunately I'm not qualified." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Then you can drive it for me tomorrow." "Don't dare, you'll get spanked," the director said. "The city hall is at the end of Yan'an Road, behind Jibei. You can see it when you walk along Yan'an Road." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, I understand." After the director left, Zhang Chen sat there and thought for a long time, but he couldn't figure out what kind of thing Deputy Director Lu of the city government would do to him. It seemed that he had never dealt with them. "Forget it, Don't think about it, you'll find out when you go there tomorrow. The sound of a car horn came from outside the door. Zhang Chen and Wei Venfang hurried out and saw Wu Ziyawai driving back in a brand new Iveco. He drove it to the yard and stopped. The door opened. Zhao Zhigang, Lao Wan, and the finance man came from above. After getting off the bus, Zhao Zhigang saw Zhang Chen and shouted, "This car is more comfortable to sit in than the bus." Zhang Chen walked up and took a look. There were 2 rows of seats on both sides of the passage, one for doubles and one for singles. Wu Ziyawai and Zhang Chen said that if the seats in the back were removed, the back could be loaded with cargo. The 3 seats in front can also seat people. Zhang Chen said yes, you can dismantle it. Lao Wan was under the car. When he heard that the chair was to be dismantled, he quickly climbed up again to help Wu Ziyawai dismantle it. He seemed to be particularly interested in everything on the car. Zhang Chen walked to the door of the municipal government compound and registered in the reception room. He looked inside the courtyard, with towering trees and several Soviet-style houses built in the 1950s. Zhang Chen asked the receptionist on duty. The other party told him that when he walked in through the middle passage, the second building on the left was the city government building. Zhang Chen entered through the door of the municipal government building. There was also a foyer, but this foyer was very large. There were 2 thick terrazzo columns in the middle. There were 2 rows of wooden benches against the walls on both sides, for people who came to do business. Facing the gate, there is a large wooden screen wall with the words "Serve the People" engraved on it. Under the screen wall, there are more than a dozen pots of evergreens lined up. After walking around the screen wall, you can see the stairs leading to the second floor at the back. The stairs are very wide, with red-painted wooden handrails on both sides. There are corridors on both sides of the stair entrance. Go deeper to the left and right. There is a wooden sign hanging at the entrance of the corridor on the left. It says, 116-130 on it, and 101-115 on the right. Zhang Chen walked towards the corridor on the right. He walked to the door of room 105. The door was closed. There was a glass transom at a height above the door, but it was covered with white paper from the inside. Standing outside, he still couldn't see inside. Zhang Chen knocked on the door twice, and a loud voice shouted from inside, "Come in." Zhang Chen pushed the door and walked in. He was stunned for a moment. He saw Mr. Nye and Secretary Bao from Erking head office also sitting on the sofa. He looked at Zhang Chen. He felt embarrassed for a moment, then smiled at him and said, "Mr. Zhang, hello." Zhang Chen felt that his scalp was numb. Seeing them, he basically understood what kind of meeting he was called here for today. He should still be mobilized to an ex-Kuning garment factory. Zhang Chen thought he called Mr. Nye that day. After telling him their decision, the matter was over. Unexpectedly, they still didn't give up. They probably felt that their strength was not enough, so they moved out the city government office. At this moment, Zhang Chen also understood why the city government office asked the village director to inform him. This was also to calm himself down from the side and give him a warning. Make a show of your own power. Zhang Chen had a premonition that he would be in a little trouble today. In front of the desk, there was a middle-aged man with fair skin and burly body sitting. When Zhang Chen came in, he stood up, walked over, looked at Zhang Chen, and stretched out his hand. "Are you Mr. Zhang? Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you. My surname is Liu." Zhang Chen quickly held Deputy Director Liu's hand and said to him, "Hello, Director Liu." When Director Liu spoke, his voice was like a copper bell, ringing like a bell. Hearing it gave people a very decent feeling, which made Zhang Chen feel good about him. Zhang Chen felt that Director Liu's image and voice did not seem to fit well with the scheme of informing him through the director of Sanbeo village. "Come, sit down." Director Liu gently patted Zhang Chen's shoulder twice and motioned for him to sit on the sofa. Zhang Chen sat down. Mr. Zhang, do you want boiled water or tea? Director Lu asked. Zhang Chen said boiled water is enough, Director Lu. Director Lu brought a cup of cold water and placed it in front of Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said thank you. Director Lu stepped back, took his own thermos cup from his desk, smiled and told them, I can't do it. Even on such a hot day, I still need to drink something hot. He put the thermos cup down on the coffee table, moved a chair, and placed it opposite Mr. Nai and Secretary Bao. Zhang Chen quickly stood up and wanted to face Mr. Nai and Secretary Bao on their separate sofa. To Director Lu, Mr. Nai and Secretary Bao also stood up. Director Lu waved his hand and shouted, sit down, Mr. Zhang, sit down. I'm still used to sitting here. Old Nai and Old Bao, you guys sit down too. The four of them all sat down. Director Lu was already tall and sat on a chair. Zhang Chen, Mr. Nai and Secretary Bao had to look up at him slightly when talking. Okay, to make a long story short, I called you here today just for a short meeting. The topic is just one, and that is how to solve the problem of Kuning Garment Factory. Lao Nai and Lao Bao, why has there been no progress on this matter since then? Director Lu made an opening statement and asked a question. Secretary Bao looked at Zhang Chen and said to Director Lu, Mr. Zhang is not interested in it. We can't force others to merge, and there is no such thing. Director Lu waved his hand and interrupted Secretary Bao. Director Lu said, I don't blame Mr. Zhang. I've been to your factory before. It's smoky and smoky. There's still a hint of a factory here and there. From the factory director to the workers below, if anyone can take a fancy to the mental outlook, that's it. You are blind, Mr. Zhang, am I right? Zhang Chen quickly said, no, the main reason is that I don't have this experience. I set up a factory by myself and learned while doing it. If I rashly merged, I'm afraid that I won't be able to cope with it, and I will betray the trust of the leaders, which delayed the workers' important work. Director Lu stared at Zhang Chen, which made Zhang Chen feel a little scared. Director Lu laughed and shook his head. Oh, Mr. Zhang, your Yongcheng County Cultural Bureau made a mistake in not asking you to be the group leader. Listen to these few words of Mr. Zhang. They are very level and watertight. Now it's better. We all hit a soft nail. Both Mr. Nai and Secretary Bao laughed, nodded, and said yes. Zhang Chen's face turned red, and he was secretly surprised. It seemed that Director Lu came here well prepared. He had already found out what he was doing. As for the leader, Zhang Chen had also heard Hai Bassian say this before. As I said, it seems that the Cultural Affairs Bureau has actually made such a motion. Darling, it's so dangerous that I almost turned into Feng Logui. Mr. Zhang, here we can speak freely. Don't worry. We are discussing issues ourselves. You can tell us whatever you think, okay? Zhang Chen said yes. Okay, I won't be polite and just ask directly, Mr. Zhang, don't you really despise the fact that Kuning Garment Factory is old and shabby? No, Zhang Chen said honestly, both old and broken are not terrible. If the machine is old, just replace it with a new one. If the factory building is broken, just renovate it. I used to do decoration, so this can't stop me. Yes, let me interject, Director Lu said, you have done a good job in making the Yiming Food Factory sales department a dilapidated building. Now it has become a beautiful scenery on Yan'an Road. I heard that it is still. Did you design it yourself? Zhang Chen nodded and said yes. Able. This capable person can really do anything decently. Okay, Mr. Zhang, you continue. Director Lu raised his hand. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and continued, to be honest, what I'm worried about is people. This person is not an equipment factory. It doesn't mean that you can change it immediately if you want. It is still a long-term existence. You can change it every year and every month. I have to face it every day, and I worry that with so many people, if I don't have the ability to solve it, the factory still won't be able to sustain it. Yes, he is knowledgeable and candid. Director Lu nodded. Talent is the most critical factor. If the human problem is solved, it will be a driving force for the company and a driving force for development. If it is not solved, then it will become resistance, pressure, and even a burden. If we have to support more than 70 retired workers and more than 100 active workers, which one can afford it? When Director Lu said this, he suddenly changed the subject and asked, Mr. Zhang, if I remember correctly, both your parents are retired workers from Yongchen Instrument Factory, right? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said yes. Thank you Tian Machine Kong, Book Friends 2020032909053625 and Tang Wei for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.